2025 will be remembered as a year that split the wrestling world in half, a year that changed everything. Not just because of the seismic shockwaves following the death of Hulk Hogan, an icon who symbolized an entire generation of larger-than-life superstars. But because of what happened after that. Because of what John Cena did. John Cena, the eternal babyface, the man who never turned, the man who stayed loyal to hustle, loyalty, and respect for over 2 decades, finally crossed the line. It didn't happen in some small vignette. It didn't come as a subtle shift in tone. It was loud, it was brutal, and it was unmistakable. A heel turn. And not just any heel turn, the heel turn. At the center of it all was Cody Rhodes. A man with legacy dripping from every pore, a man who had become the heart of WWE's modern era, and the perfect opponent for the newly unhinged Cena. It began with a low blow, simple and shocking. Cena, goaded by the manipulative whispers of The Rock and the unexpected presence of Travis Scott at ringside, struck Cody in the most cowardly way imaginable. The collective gasp from the crowd could have shattered glass. This wasn't just a feud. This was personal. This was generational. This was symbolic. The last true hero of the PG era becoming the villain at the end of his road, taking aim at the man who represented WWE's future. And WWE leaned into it. They didn't run from the comparisons. They embraced them. They recreated the summer of Punk. Only this time, it wasn't about rebellion from below. It was about control from above. Back in 2011, CM Punk sat cross-legged on the stage and shattered the fourth wall with his now legendary pipe bomb. He dragged Vince McMahon, Triple H, Stephanie, and even The Rock through the mud. He said what fans were thinking. He became a cult hero. He left with the title. He came back. He made history. Now, in 2025, the tables had turned, literally and figuratively. CM Punk was the one laid out. It was John Cena standing above him. A cracked table behind them. A microphone in hand. A shot that mirrored that infamous moment, down to the arena lights casting long shadows over the ring. But this wasn't a copy. It was a reflection. It was Cena's truth, delivered with the same fire Punk once used to tear down the corporate machine. Only now, Cena was the machine. And in his words, you could hear decades of frustration. Of resentment. Of quiet bitterness finally boiling to the surface. He spoke of loyalty, how it got him nowhere but second-guessed. He spoke of sacrifice, and how it was mocked behind closed doors. He spoke of fans, who turned on him when he didn't bleed, sweat, and cry the way they wanted. He called out the very audience that once adored him. And then he turned on Punk, not just physically, but philosophically. You had your moment, Cena growled. You had your truth. This is mine. Every word was a hammer on the legacy Punk built. Every sentence was a bullet in the narrative that once portrayed Cena as the golden boy. No more. This was not the Cena of, never give up. This was not the smiling, salute-throwing superhero. This was the man who had carried the company on his back while being booed out of buildings. The man who bled for a company that never let him rest. The man who was ready to burn it all down before walking out the door. Punk, in that moment, became the unlikely symbol of purity. The same man who once tore down WWE now stood for everything Cena had walked away from: rebellion, authenticity, and resistance. Night of Champions in Riyadh became more than just a pay-per-view. It became the battleground of ideologies. In the heart of Saudi Arabia, where legacy and modernity often clash, WWE told its most layered story yet. The crowd was electric, confused, thrilled, betrayed, and fully engaged. Every eye was fixed on that ring. Every fan knew something had changed. And then came the image. That iconic, low-angle shot. Cena towering. Punk broken. The microphone dangling. It was art. It was cinema. It was storytelling the way only wrestling can deliver. Except, that Slim Jim logo. Big, yellow, obnoxious. Stuck to the broken table like a corporate tattoo. A reminder that even in the most poetic moment WWE had crafted in a decade, they couldn't resist the cash grab. It's almost funny. Almost. Because in a way, that logo said more than Cena or Punk ever could. It reminded us that wrestling, no matter how deep the narrative runs, is still a business. That heroes and villains still live under sponsorship banners. That every revolution is packaged with a barcode. But maybe that's the point. Maybe Cena knew that. Maybe that was part of the promo. His version of the pipe bomb wasn't about leaving the system. It was about mastering it. Corrupting it. Owning it. Turning it into his final stage before he exited for good. And who better than Cena to weaponize the very thing Punk once fought? Who better than the most commercial face in WWE history to show that rebellion and conformity aren't opposites, they're partners in the dance? Cena didn't just echo Punk. He outplayed him.